Right, everybody. Today we are just going to be sitting down and having a discussion on Scarlet and Violet. Once again, Scarlet and Violet released here on Friday, and hopefully everybody's had a great opportunity to jump in on that particular set. Like I said, so far it's been a lot of fun for ourselves. Easy pull rates, which is sometimes nice, sometimes a curse when it comes down to the investment side of the Pokemon TCG. So guys, just before I get going and keep moving on this, can everybody hear me? Just to be able to double check. So, well, hopefully everybody can hear me. Mike seems like everything's working and all that. So, but like I said, today we're just going to sit here and have a discussion on what actually is happening with Scarlet and Violet. And I know there's been some people that talking in communities and stuff that are concerned at the pull rates and how easy it is to actually be able to pull some of these cards is going to overall hurt the investability of these cards. One thing I'd like to sit there and actually talk to you about is just looking at the actual base sets in general. Base sets are a interesting situation. Most of the time when it comes down to Pokemon TCG, even if you go back in history, pull rates will tend to be easier in those particular sets because let's just be honest with you, the base set is the base for all of the tournament play that's coming forward out of this generation. So, you know, I hear some people really concerned about the pull rates, it being so easy. I enjoy it personally. It's nice to have a Pokemon set where you can actually get some of the things you want and be able to complete a set relatively quickly. Do I think that investability is going to be a problem? No, I don't think on some of the cards investability is going to be a problem. Are we going to see $300-$400 cards come out of Scarlet and Violet face set? Probably not. It's probably very unlikely that that would actually happen. So once again, there's some good sides and some downsides. It's just a matter of which way we want to go with that at the end of the day. So, and today, of course, as I put up on the actual video on that, anybody who wants to has the ability to call in. So there's a link down in the description below that will get you into the Zoom, and the Zoom will actually allow you to be able to join in, and we can have a discussion on anything. If you want to continue a discussion about pull rates and things like that, we can definitely do that. If you want to discuss about something else in the Pokemon TCG, then we can definitely do that also when it comes down to investing market and things like that. But overall, that was basically what I wanted to just start out with. Talking about the pull rates. Pull rates are easy. Even the overall that we've gotten from TCG Player and stuff like that has been fairly easy. Actually, myself, I've had really good luck pulling some of the cards with very few packs, which is a very interesting compared to what it's been in Sword and Shield. But overall, base sets, pretty typical. Once again, there isn't a lot of flair in base sets. Yes, there's some alternate arts. Yes, there's some gold cards. There's no more rainbow rares. So realistically, what you're seeing with these illustrator cards is really the replacements for rainbow rares. It's going to be kind of interesting to see overall as things move into the future is if they're going to continue to come up with new cards, new ideas, new variations of alternate arts. The Garnivore line, of course, is an awesome line in my opinion. I really do like that and to move forward. So once again, it's just kind of an interesting concept. It's going to be kind of interesting to see if we're going to continue to see that through the variations in Scarlet and Violet as we get into the next few sets. But personally, I think the first couple sets of Scarlet and Violet are going to seem rough. And as more things become available and more things happen, we're going to have more opportunities at that. So I'm going to jump over and then say a shout out. Thanks, FJ, for joining. Great to join the stream. Yep. Q is going to be starting here very quickly. I just wanted to give a quick introduction on where we're at right now on things. And then I'm going to open it up to the discussion side. So the queue should not be very long. And I'm giving everybody 5 to 10 minutes roughly to talk. Trying to give everybody the opportunity that wants to get in on it for sure. The set is in trouble. If Pokemon keeps oversupplying, it's a problem for Pokemon. I don't know if the set's in trouble personally yet. When it comes down to base sets, once again, it's the base for building all the new, especially since now you got to go back to the evolutionary lines. There's no more of this just jump ahead and, you know, go right to the VMAX cards. You're going to have to build out evolutionary lines in the tables now, which is going to be a new concept for the tournament play, which means you're going to need a lot more cards in the actual playing side in order to do so. So that's going to be a different change when it comes down to it. Yeah, and FJ, like I said, FJ, probably 5-10 minutes in between people. Let me see. I honestly don't know how many people are even in the queue right now. I got one person in the queue right now. So we got one person that's in the queue. I will be bringing him on here just shortly, which might be you, FJ. Now I see the name. Let's see. They just need another rarity like the Terra Shiny. Exactly, Pokeshark. And I think that that's eventually going to come. Honestly, when you get down and actually think about it, Pokemon base sets are very plain, very basic to start. Really, there's not much to them. This one actually has already a little bit more than a lot of them do, just because of the fact that there's those alternate art and those kind of them big growth things that they don't normally do in the Pokemon TCG on a base set. But we are seeing it, which is good. They've actually evolved a little bit and not just giving us a plain dropout set that doesn't have anything in it, and then we got to continually build up right into things. So yeah, definitely something we'll probably be seeing as Scarlet and Violet moves on. I'm not too concerned about the overall, you know, the overall sets in general. I think this is still early in Scarlet and Violet, and this is just a typical rollout on this stuff. I'm glad I waited to rate it on the set. It doesn't look appealing as an investment. Fun to open though. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is exactly what base sets are for. It's fun to open, guys. Open it, enjoy the cards. I've already had some really good pulls. My son actually pulled 2 of the Illustrator arts. I pulled 1 already, and we've only opened what 2 of the 6-pack boosters, a couple of the singles, 3-pack blisters, and a few of these. So it's not like we've been opening a ton of it yet. Actually, my Walmart didn't get it till today, so realistically, it wasn't very easy to get even during the weekend. So I missed out on some of that original drop on this one for sure. People say John Stamos. People say Pokemon is dying, but SV sales are through the roof. Exactly. People are loving the set. People are loving the pull rates. Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, and it doesn't really seem to affect the actual sales on it. I think a lot of people are really excited with this actual turnout of this particular product. I enjoy it. I think that there's some really good things. Personally, I don't like the silver borders, but that's just my OG brain still having problems coping with that. I think as it keeps going, I do like it with certain cards. So like trainer gallery cards and those kind of the alternate arts and those kind of things with the silver borders are going to be a lot better. But I do miss the yellow borders on like the commons, the uncommons, and even the hollows, because it did give that kind of authentic English feel. And now I just get like I'm opening Japanese cards. From the little bit that I do, it just feels like Japanese now. So like I said, as it moves on, it might grow on to me a little bit more, but currently I'm still having a little bit of hard time getting through that. Far out people complain about low pull rates because you can't get the cards you want. Pull rates are easy, and now you're unhappy because you invest in them. Yeah, I know, exactly. That's just it, Michael. I think it's just going to be kind of interesting to see as it continues to roll out. Pull rates will change, things will adjust, things will vary, everything will happen. Overall, I'm not complaining about the pull rates on it. I'm glad to see these. And do I think that the cream of the crop cards, the good cards, are going to end up pulling out in the end and being a good investment? Yes, I think that they're going to. I just don't think you're going to see that upfront investment that a lot of people are looking for, and that's where the complaints are really coming from, is that you're not able to get that up front. Oh wow, this card went right to $200, like that Lugia V alternate art, or like the Giratina V card that we saw for alternate arts, or any of those alternate arts through the end of Sword and Shield. We're just not seeing that explosion in the price, and that's one of the things that are really, I think, disrupting the things a little bit, and that's what's really getting investors in hand. I think that there's some really nice arts, there's some really good cards. Overall, I think that it's, it is a base set. It's a base set overall, and I think people need to realize that a base set's a base set, and there's a building point, and now what happens on the next few sets as Triple Beat and the other sets start to build into the next one is going to really start setting the tone for the momentum of Scarlet and Violet. First one, cool, easy. Next one, we'll have hopefully a building about midway through, a third of the way through. We'll see some kind of expansion, like the Amazing Rare showed up in Vivid Voltage and Shining Fates just for a time frame, and then we went into the following year, and then we started getting alternate arts. So we'll definitely be seeing that building as we continue to move on. The set is not in trouble. It's supposed to be easy pulls. It's a base set. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I've been saying. Unit base sets, even Sword and Shield base set was extremely easy. Sun and Moon base set was extremely easy, especially because if you could count the 3 after you got the first white code card, you could go right through the box 1, 2, 3 and continue to pull the hits out of it and leave all the non-hits in the packs. So once again, if you're looking at buying Sun and Moon base set packs, be very, very cautious about buying singles, because they are 100% mappable in the original packages. But base sets are definitely a simplistic pull, easy pull rates. They're trying to build a mechanic. So everybody remember that. The base set is not a good one to really set yourself up and say, this is what it's going to be. You need to let the first few sets kind of go through so that we can see where the pull rates are going to fall. when we get more rarities, more hyper rares, more alternate arts, all these things start to play out, whatever new designs might come out, that'll definitely change things at the end of the day. Um, Very interesting. I do like that the set is player friendly. Exactly, and base set should be. People always find a reason to complain. Yep. TKK Collectors, S&V sold a lot up here in Canada. I think that there will be some whales higher end collectors that might pause on ripping. Like for Pokemon Go. Possibly. The problem is that once again, I think that if you're going to get Scarlet Violet, the sealed side is doing really well overall. It's just as the sealed side, continues to do well, depending on the amount of reprints and things that happen, the single side is really going to suffer, which may cause even the sealed side to slow down in the market. Let's be honest, if there's not a big chase and there's no high-end $200, $300 chase cards inside of this set, what's the reasoning to be able to pull those things open? It just doesn't make sense at the end of the day. Sometimes it's better just to let it sit and age, but you do hope to a point that a lot of people open it for the tournament play and for that point of it. That way you can continually get that momentum of upward movement on the sealed product at the end of the day to continue it moving in the upward direction. Otherwise, it'll just stall like we see with the, Sword and Shield base set and even Sun and Moon base set. Besides the boom, they really haven't done much movement. They're both sitting around $240. And let's be honest, they're just not a desirable set overall comparatively to the other, Sun and Moon. You got Cosmic Eclipse, Hidden Fates, and all these other ones there. So, all right, let's see here. Have you heard anything on PC? No, I have not. They only gave them out on pre-orders of the PC ETBs when they came back into stock on release, and they didn't come with them. No, I did not get those. I did not see them at all come through. I'm under the impression they have printed a lot of this based on prices. Australian Target stores are already having clearance sales in this week. Really? That's pretty impressive. Here, actually, our stock wasn't that high at our current stores. I do know my LGS didn't only get the 58 booster boxes that they ordered out of the 96 that they wanted. Even in the stores, I mean, even these blisters were not in like the big four group container. Usually they're 4 wide, 2 deep, and there's always a ton of them on the release. This was actually just in their own little packaging, like MJ Holding it split it up between multiple stores versus just one store getting each one of those displays. So I don't know what's going on. It may just be a delayed. They might do like they did on some of the other ones, and we'll definitely be seeing a stream of these things coming over time. Do you think the distributors cut allocations in Canada for us? Yeah, exactly. That's what we had here in the United States. 2 TKK collectors. Do you think in the long term it will be a good investment because of the easy pulls? Do you think that the next Scarlet and Violet sets will? Yeah, and I think I answered that one already a little bit. Pokemon Cryptic Heat. I definitely think that base sets are always a little bit flat. The actual availabilities in there, the hyper rare cards and things are a little bit set. The biggest reasons for base set is to build the first original decks of this new era. So with the new dynamic coming up here on rotation, people are really, even my bulk sales are through the roof right now with people trying to reallocate and reorientate for the new, tournament play coming up here in April 15th, I believe is when the set turns over. So yeah, there's definitely going to be an easy pull rate on this, but I do think long term, I don't know if it'll be great. It's just fun to open. I mean, I think that'd be the advantage to it as an investment is rippers such as PokeRev and that may want to open that in the future. Otherwise, I could see it being stagnant too. I mean, I could see it getting up a little bit and kind of just stalling out when a new set of Scarlet and Violet comes out and it's got more things, more hype, more FOMO inside of it, more things for people to chase, and you might see that change. What card from Scarlet and Violet would be worth grading, if any? I would think the set of the Guarantee or the Garnivore EX line, that alternate art series, I think if you could get those in 10s and keep them together as a set, I think those would be a really good grade worthy set. And granted, individual, I don't think that they'll take too much, but if you can get 4 10s, I think there's some really good opportunities there. Miriam, I don't know if it's gonna pan out so well. I mean, with that high of a print rate on it compared to the Japanese, it's definitely going to hinder that overall. No, FJ, actually, I'm just going to keep you right where you were because I know you were sitting there first and you lost connection. $5 AUD individual blisters. The exchange rate to US dollars about 150. Okay, so all right. Let's see. Lost my connection. Let me catch you charge and I'll hop on. Okay. Was Miriam planned out to get Americans into waifu hype? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to get America into the waifu hype as easy as Japan. Japan's had that for years, though. It's just been pointed out here in the United States, but Japan's had a waifu thing for forever. As long as I can remember, even when I was in college, it was a waifu thing. Granted, it just moved into Pokemon a little bit more, and they've seemed to cater to that a little bit more in Pokemon. And then, of course, a lot of the like YouTube channels and things are really starting to push that. Yes. Well, if you're a collector and investor, it's definitely straight trash. But if you're a player, it's definitely a great set. If you're just looking at fun set. Yeah, this is the best base set in decades. Of course, it's a good investment. Well, yeah, I agree. This is probably the best. I mean, out of, Sun and Moon base and Sword and Shield base set, this is a fun base set. This has a lot of things in it that are really fun to open. It's really fun to go after. Yeah, please don't get in hype. So, as I promised, I was going to do about 10 minutes. I'm a little bit out over this already. We're going to go ahead and bring in the first person, which is going to be FJ. Of course, he's sitting there in the chat. So, we're going to go ahead and bring the first person on. So I'm going to hit admit, see if I don't screw this up. Load him up real quick. Yeah, like I said, pull rates aren't as good as people say. I open a few ETBs and not that many hits. I love the gray borders, though. Yeah, like it's weird that you're saying that, because in general, most people I'm seeing are really doing well at the end of the day. I'm pulling out of just simple boxes. I'm pulling gold cards. I'm pulling the alternate arts. I'm pulling a lot of different things that are really being successful. And like I said, overall, I definitely think that I think that the pull rates are really good. Even we're seeing a lot of people saying that at the end of the day.
Hey, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you, Fahim. Can you hear me?
Hey, Andy, it's great to be speaking to you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining, of course. Thank you for coming on.
How's my connection? Is it cutting out at all, or is
No,
it
I can hear you
pretty
really
stable?
well.
All right. Hey, once again, thanks for having me. I really like or appreciate the outreach you've been doing with the last couple of videos and not having people on your stream. So it really means a lot that I can at least ask you a 5-10 minute question and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I've been trying to do a little bit more community work outreach, and actually working with you guys, actually answering your questions and being a little bit more catered to that.
Oh, thank you again. Should I just go ahead and ask you what's on my mind?
Yep, go ahead and bring up what you got.
All right, so here's what happened. Around a year ago, it was like at the end of the previous summer. What I ended up doing was I was like scrolling through my phone at work, finishing some stuff up, and I noticed that Twice Baked Jake released a video on VMAX Climax, one of the products that was going down in price at the time. I know you mainly do most of the English stuff. I'm not too sure about the Japanese, but any input is appreciated. At the time of him uploading that video, VMAX Climax was like $50 a box. It fell back down to MSRP after being at $100 like the longest time. And I was one of the last few people who went on eBay and saw that cases of them were still going for like $900, $950. So that comes with 20 booster boxes. That's like $50 a box. And I was able to pick one up at that time, a case of it. Right now, a case is going for double that. Like it increased to double in a span of like 3 months. So I was wondering, would this be a good time to sell considering everything that's going on in the Japanese market? Or is this something that you think I should hold on to, or maybe crack the case open and sell some of the boxes and sit on whatever remains for a long-term period?
Well, the biggest thing that I would be looking at is, number one, are you looking at are you looking at recouping some of that money right now? Are you looking at, it really depends on what you're looking at in general. Do you mind cracking cases, or do you think that case will hold a premium in the future? These are all things that you need to kind of weigh at the end of the day when it comes down to a lot of these products. Overall on VMAX Climax, I think the individual boxes themselves will do probably as well as the case on that part, but personally, I would probably hold on it if I don't need the money, just because I just personally think that VMAX Climax is another one of those sets I think will do really well, just like V Star Universe overall. And if you're not trying to recoup money in this current time, I think you're going to do great. Japanese market is still doing hot. I know some people are getting frustrated with the fact that the scalping and that kind of thing is happening, and all those kind of issues are continuing to happen at that point. But I definitely think that overall, I don't think that's going to hinder some of these older sets, especially if they're in a case form. Case forms even give you an even better chance of people not thinking that you're, scalping or cutting the boxes open and removing the chase cards that are inside of those particular sets.
Hey, thanks so much again. I know like my biggest concern with that product in specific was typically like in the English market, what you're seeing right now is we're in this weird period of time where we haven't really seen a lot of booster box reprints from the Sword and Shield era. And
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of at that point where it's very risky. It's like a hit or miss. Do I keep the $400 Evolving Skies booster box, or do I cut my losses and sell it for this ridiculous amount that it's gone up to? Or will it just not get that reprint that some of us are expecting? So I'm not sure if that same logic would have applied to this case of Japanese product I've got. That being said, they print a lot less product. They have their own
Mm-hmm.
things going on over there. So I was like, is it a one-to-one comparison or is it a case-by-case basis? And you kind of helped me realize that.
Okay. Yeah, it is definitely case by case. Japanese market is definitely back then, even then, was even more limited than the United States market. Um, once again, if you're looking at Evolving Skies is a tough call. If you have only one case, or one booster box, I'd probably wait and take my risk with it. If you got multiple, it might be a good time to sell one or a couple, and then recoup some of that money on, once again, trying to get that money back out of it so that you don't have, cost basis on your shelf. More cost basis have on your shelf, the more risk you have of failure at the end of the day and having that collapse. If Pokemon were to collapse and you've got, all this cost basis and you haven't recouped any of it, you may not be able to get it back out of it for a really long period of time.
Hey, thanks so much, Andy. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I think I'll head off the call and let someone else get a chance to join.
All right, sounds good. I will jump on to the next person, which is going to be the programmer. Let me see if I can do this. We're going to bring the programmer on. Thank you, Mason, for putting that up there. Definitely appreciate it. Throw that up in the chat for me. You have 20. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Justin. It just depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, if you don't need the money, sometimes it's better to let these things sit and go. If you do need the money, a lot of times, or like for myself, my example is a cost basis thing. I want to sometimes get rid of that. So, all right, we're going to have on the next person, going to be the programmer. All right, back to just me again. Overall, I think that the metal cards are going to be something interesting in the long run, how they perform, and how long many more do that. Never been a Japanese card collector or Dan. So this new generation set is horrible for me. Very, very disappointing. You just don't like the new set because of the pull rates on it there, Aaron? Or are you just upset with something else on it? Some people, yeah, no kidding. That's what I kind of figure as an AI. But anyways, yeah, like I said, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see. Like I said, I would definitely wait a couple sets. I know, some people really do get concerned about little things, and there's a lot of course, influencers bringing up some different, different aspects at the end of the day, worrying about dropping rates, dropping prices, dropping everything, and at the end of the day, that's not really to be concerned when we're coming into the first couple of these, first couple sets of a new era. We've seen it in every era coming forward. It's just a little bit of a hiccup. It's usually trying to get dynamic into it, and it's definitely trying to get that stuff going. Yeah, I actually like the reverse hollows. I think they're a lot better than the Sword and Shield reverse hollows. Like I said, I'm just having a hard time getting my head around the whole silver border thing. To me, it's really difficult for me to want to jump in on that. So, all right, should we try to? Pretty sad I got to go to that point, but once again, that's what we're going to end up having to do because, you know, that's the way things roll around here in the modern day of the internet. So, yeah, like I said, go ahead and throw that up there. Sorry about that, guys. Like I said, we got a bunch of children. Joe, if you're up there, please hit me up with a message. Let me know that you're a real person so that I'll let you in. If not, we got John Cooper and Jack Meeker. Yeah, I know some people are so mature. Scarlet Violet is not that great with the art, but is a base set, so we have to wait for the next ones. Yeah, exactly. Was definitely one of those things that, you know, a base set's a base set. At the end of the day, we got to keep that in mind. We got to keep moving forward. I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of this era, and definitely going to be waiting to see what we actually find at the end of the day and how things move forward. So. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, ELO. That's probably the biggest issue that I have at the end of the day are the silver borders. The silver borders, they might grow on me. They might. I actually do enjoy them more on like the alternate arts and the actual like some of the other cards. But the common uncommons, I could definitely see wanting the yellow border still on those. It made it feel like it was, you know, English. It was our version of it. It gave it a variation, something that stepped out that was different than everybody else's, and that was, and to me, really cool to have. Any words on reprints? When it comes down to the reprint side of things, I've heard a couple stories. I think Mason, if you're in the chat, you could probably help me out more than anything on that at the end of the day. I have not been able to get a hold of my distributor friend. He's been really busy right now too with the Scarlet and Violet rollout, and then so he hasn't been able to really talk very much. But some people are saying they're hearing a reprint, some people are not. So I don't know for sure. I'm not going to say anything until I have confirmation on any of it. Yeah, Brian, I will edit this. I won't even put this up after this is done. I will definitely save this one and put it as private until I get that edited out, and then I'll put this up live afterwards. You know, you're trying to do something nice. Yeah, I'm doing Zoom still. Just when you come in, type in that you're a real person. That way I know that you're actually real now. Now I got to screen people. Because, like I said, no guarantees even to do in that way, but at least I can do what I can to try and get people in. And if your name's on here, give me your username on the chat. That way I make sure that I got you pulled in. All right. Let's see. We've got here, unlike Sword and Shield, when you get a peep of silver, you expect something. Yeah, that's one thing that I will say is you think you got something good back there because of all the hollows have the silver border around them. So you get that flash back there of the hollow, and you're instantly all excited. So, John Cooper, there you are. So I will bring in John Cooper because I know he's a real person now. Hopefully. Hopefully you're not playing me, John. All right. Can you hear me, John? It says chat is disabled. Oop, lost him. Sorry, guys. I'm new to doing this. I was trying to... Let's see. Shadowjack. What's your name on there? Just type in your name in here. And then I will figure this part out. Okay, so that should work. Let's see. I'm real though. The internet is going. Yeah, no kidding. The internet's the internet, no matter what you do. What did I miss? You don't want to. Don't ask. Don't ask what you missed. It's better off not to know. Jack Meeker. Okay. I got you. No, not that one. Okay, we're bringing you in, Jack. There you go, Jack. Should be able to get you in. What was this? How's it going, Jack? Can you hear me?
Yeah, brother. Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you. Let me remove that one before I get. Ask me to report. There we go.
Is the audio okay?
Yep, audio's good. We're all good to go. How's it going, Jack?
All right, man. Doing well. Hope you are.
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah.
After a
Doing
fun
good, man.
start,
Appreciate having
anyways.
me on. Yeah. Hey, it's not your fault. Hopefully, everyone watching at 10 o'clock is able to handle it.
I would hope so. This is adult programming, so hopefully there's not too many kids
Yeah.
hanging around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. Love the channel. Appreciate everything you do for the community. You've come a long way, so congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, man, Scarlet and Violet. I mean, everyone's saying the pull rates are great, but I've opened 250 packs and counting. Haven't pulled the Miriam. I traded for it, but I haven't pulled it. I've gotten quite a few Maridon alt arts and gold cards and stuff, so pretty decent. But like you said, it's a base set. I mean, it's not going to be alt arts and, you know, the end of Sword and Shield.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing is that, you know, I think everybody had this hype and expectation, especially coming out of Crown Zenith. You know, you got all these alternate arts, like Galarian Gallery, all this hype, FOMO, all this big stuff, and then you're going into a base set that has really easy pull rates and, you know, no real chase cards in it. And yeah, I guess that Miriam, it seems to be hit or miss, because I know people have pulled that Miriam really quickly, and then other people don't get them at all. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting sometimes, and that's where you talk about that regional distribution too. Sometimes it seems like some places get a ton of product or tons of a certain hit, and others just don't get any at all. So it's just kind of interesting the way that sometimes lays out. And luck plays a big part of it also.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in North Carolina, and man, our Walmarts are full. My LGS had booster boxes like last Wednesday. I bought a couple. But yeah, Walmarts have been full with the four row, 2 deep boxes you were talking about of the single pack blisters. And like I said, I've been getting quite a few, and then ripping with some buddies, and my sister-in-law bought her first ETB the other day, and she pulled the Miriam first pack. So
yeah. That's what I mean. Sometimes
like you said, it's all about the luck. Yeah,
sometimes it's just plain and simple luck. At the end of the day, you know, I could sit there. Okay, perfect example, Lugia V. I've pulled 2 of them now, and I really haven't opened a ton of Silver Tempest. But it's just luck.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I fell into 2 of them. It's not like it's. But then I've gotten cert chase cards like the Garantina. I still haven't pulled it, and I've opened probably 4 or 5 booster boxes worth of Lost Origins and probably 2 booster boxes worth of Silver Tempest. Haven't pulled the Garantina. I haven't even gotten anything close to that good out of that set. But yet, you know, Silver Tempest hit the Lugia twice. It's just crazy sometimes, the pull rates and just luck. Sometimes it just seems like dumb luck at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. There's been tons of Lost Origin singles too. I've picked up quite a few of them hunting that Giratina. So
yeah,
we'll see. But that was a bit surprising. They're kind of dropping them both together in the Walmarts here.
Yeah,
but yeah, like.
Oh, go ahead.
I've pulled 2 Moonbreons, you know, and Rattle hasn't pulled one in 3,000 packs. So.
I know. You really
Brutal.
do feel you feel bad for him, but he completed what, the Scarlet and Violet set now? What did he do? 2.5 cases or whatever it was?
3 cases.
3 cases, yeah, just under 3 cases. So yeah, it was pretty crazy that he pulled it that quickly.
He's doing okay. Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks again for having me on. I'll let you see if anybody else is up to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you got any other questions, definitely we can hit them now. Trying to see if anybody else has confirmed anything. Let me in, Andy, please. Okay, that must be a person. Just guessing.
Sounds like it.
I got John Cooper here too. I knew that he said he was. So there's a couple people waiting. So, like I said, thank you for coming once again. You know, if you got any questions, definitely throw them in the chat, or if you want to come back on, definitely available.
All right, man. We'll do. Thanks
All right.
again.
Thanks for coming.
All right. See you in the chat.
Yep. See you in chat. Yeah, I haven't pulled that yet either. Oh, should I restart the stream, guys? Would you guys just restart it and be done with it? Yeah, let me know, John, what your name is. I'm going to just continue the stream. I know it's going to suck for people. I'll put it as private right afterwards. People that are in the chat are already going to hit it. Webs. Be honest with you, I'm just going to, it's set to private already, and I'm only going to be going for about another 15-20 minutes. I'm trying to keep them to an hour and a half with my wife. So, like I said, I'm going to just go ahead and go to the next one here. Oh, I was just going to please let me in, and you're gone now. On Samos, what is your name? Yeah, Pika Pika, just go to the end. Don't watch the whole thing, Pika Pika. Just go right to where we're at now. Yeah, I'm not letting everyone in because that turned into a disaster. Okay, I got you. Got you, John. All right, John. Let's see if that worked. Audio's connecting right now. Yep. I got you, John. Can you hear me? Yeah, Pika Pika, just go to the end. Don't watch the whole thing, Pika Pika. Just go right to where we're at now.
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. You got a little bit of a audio kick over, but nothing crazy.
It turned off. Am I good now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about kind of the whole thing that Cole Trainer Ryan said. You know, because obviously that's a guy who holds like probably 7 figures. You know, so when he says something like, you know, not saying it's 100% because it's only one guy, but it's still important to pay attention. So I kind of just want to know what you think about, because of the silver borders, you know, honestly, I prefer the yellow ones, you know, like a lot of people. But even when you get a big hit, it's like silver anyway, you know, so not much of a difference there. So I think it's a combination for him of that, the silver borders, he doesn't necessarily like it. And the fact that the generation is kind of, because I think the Pokemon are kind of, I mean, like the legendaries are kind of whack to me, just because I seen the game where they're riding around. You know, I kind of just don't like that. I'm a fan of like the OG Pokemon games, so I just want to know what about the future Pokemon with the silver borders.
Like I said, I'm hit or miss on it. Like I said, I always like the yellow borders and like the commons, the uncommons. You know, I personally gave us that distinguishing factor between English and Japanese. When you opened up an English pack, you knew instantly that you were pulling an English pack just because of the yellow borders, right? There was no questioning that fact. The other thing is too, is I agree, you know, I wish that on English, if it was an ultra rare or better, they would maybe go to that silver border and leave the commons and uncommons at yellow. Because I go back to our trainer gallery cards, I really wish that a lot of those would have been silver bordered, because they would have looked a lot cleaner and sharper, like they were designed for silver. And then yellow, it just actually took away from it. So like that Hoot card, and you know, a lot of those, you know, even the Pikachu trainer gallery cards from Lost Origins and stuff, I feel that they were just, the yellow was too distracting on those cards. They should have been silver, where it was a little bit more blended into the actual artwork itself. But you know, like I said, it might be one of those things that just might take, especially someone who's been in it since 99, a long time to really get accustomed to that. Because like I said, it's now whenever I see silver, it's instantly Japanese, and I have to question if I'm opening the right product. And I didn't have to question before.
Right. Also, one more quick thing because I know
Mhm.
there's other people.
That'll be fine.
When Sword and Shield was coming out, you could pick up booster boxes at 100. I think that's like the average. I was talking to people. Does that sound right to you? Like 100 pre-order or release? Maybe
Pre-order.
at the very that's at 80 or 85.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. At pre-order, I know on release, a lot of places were around $99, $99.99 for a booster box at most of the LGSs that I went to. And then right afterwards, it dropped down to about 85. But it really didn't stay at 85 very long either. It kind of came right back up. It was kind of a little blip down from what I remember because there was a lot more hype and FOMO just growing in Pokemon after Hidden Fates. It was like that thing just kept snowballing up, so it was kind of revving up at that point. So yeah, it was about $100 to drop down. I remember picking up at least one booster box at around $85 plus tax, and then I know it went right back up after that, right back around that $100 range for quite a long time.
Right. Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up because I've been selling like Scarlet and Violet booster box locally for like 125 and 130. And once I heard about that, that's a 25. People are paying 25 to 30% more, which is that's significant to me. I think that means Pokemon's doing pretty good, that people are willing to pay that 30% price jump. Because we know MSRP went up. So people are still willing to pay that. So I think that's a pretty good sign.
Yeah, I think that it's a really good sign that people are continuing to be involved and continue to pay. The good news is that through Sword and Shield, we've had retailers continually move up the pricing, anyways. We've had distributors move up the pricing. Also, we've kind of seen this layering up to get to that point. I mean, you look at the Sword and Shield, even the last, even Silver Tempest, I believe it was $96 or 90, I think it was 80, 90 some dollars a booster box from the distributor. So we were already almost to $100, $110 per booster box from the actual LGSs. I know my LGSs were around 120 on the last two sets of Sword and Shield just because of the fact that distributor pricing had gone up. So um number one, I think distributors did a good job of kind of slowing that growth to that point where realistically we jumped another $5 to $10 versus going from 95 to $100 booster boxes all the way up to 125. I think that might have been more of a hesitation at the end of the day. So I think that was really done well at that point.
Right, right. All right, man. Hey, thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate it. Keep up the great videos.
All right, thanks for joining. All right, let's see what do we got back here. Troll is right. Seems like interest in hobby is slowly based on views alone. I don't know if it's slowly based on views alone. I mean, there seems to be interest growing in a lot of different areas in the Pokemon TCG at the end of the day. I definitely think that there's a lot of interest in the hobby. There's a lot of interest in gameplay. There's a lot of interest in a lot of different things. So definitely something that's there for sure. All markets, flow. I'd personally say it's too early to tell, but keep an eye on the market. Definitely, if things are taking a turn for the worse, you'll be able to tell. Yeah, I think so. I mean, overall, if you watch the market, at the end of the day, you're going to be able to tell how well, Scarlet Violet's actually taken overall. I think that it's still too early to really tell. There's a lot of product being opened. Singles are tanking right now because of the amount of pull rates on these things. And overall, we're going to be waiting a little bit before we'll see where this is all going to flatline. And when we hit a flatline, then we'll be able to make judgment calls on how it's going to continue overall. Let's see. VMAX alt arts are such an easy play that no one seems to have realized it yet. They are massively underpriced, especially the VMAX. I agree. I mean, I've got quite a few of the VMAX alternate arts just because everybody's changed focus to the V's. The V's because the artwork's a little bit better. It's crisper. It's cleaner. Besides the VMAX Moonbryon, realistically, a lot of them have just been really, really pulled back and really difficult. So I definitely difficult on pricing comparatively to the V alternate art. So I definitely think that you're absolutely right, Timmy Investments. I think that it's really a missing point right now. And if Scarlet and Violet for the next three sets continues to be this pulled back, I definitely think that we're going to be seeing things see things change and actually might see those alternate arts, all of them, start to move up in that upward direction. Why is everybody planting their flags so early on this? And we're not Silverhawk. That's what the discussion is today really about. It's not planting flags. It's to have the overall discussion. It just says, this is a base set. This isn't how the or the Scarlet and Violet era is going to be for sure. It's really just me reassuring people that, hey, this is just starting out, guys. This is the drawn back version of Scarlet and Violet, and my feelings are is that we're going to see, like we did with Sword and Shield, like Sun and Moon, as we move further into things, as Scarlet and Violet revs up, as the mechanic is all built in, and everybody kind of settles into the actual set and gets used to the mechanic, gets used to the gameplay. Pokemon's going to continue to throw in that next chase, that next big thing, and we're going to continue to move things over as it continues to move forward. Let's see. Is there Rudy? Yeah. Silver, it can be easy to make some predictions after a few days. I think it's just making some general predictions off of pull rates and the past performances. Exactly. That's all that we're really doing at this point in time, is we're really just looking at what's happened in previous base sets, how they've performed, what we've seen on those, and what would have happened over a long period of time. Yeah, I need to be comparing to the past base sets, though. I'd say this one is by far the strongest. I agree. This is probably the strongest base. I mean, out of the three of them that I'm familiar with right off the top of my head in the moment. I mean, I was a little bit late for Sun and Moon, but it was still available, and it really didn't do much. Just it was a fun set to open, but overall, yeah, this one to me is a lot stronger than the Sword and Shield base set. There seems to be a lot more excitement for it. The illustrator arts and stuff are definitely one of them things that are showing up for sure that I think will do really well if they continue. I kind of like these little these lines, these living lines of the Pokemon evolutions and their owners. I hope they continue to do that a little bit more. I like to see that with like a Charmander, Charmeleon, and a Charizard, a Squirtle, a War Turtle, and a Blastoise, and a Ivysaur, Bulbasaur, and a Venusaur. Definitely all three of the evolutions, just kind of the same thing. It's a really cool idea. It's a really cool move forward at the end of the day. And I definitely think it's really cool. Though I am currently doing the Zoom thing correctly. Yes, I was going to ask if that was you, and I see that you're waiting. So yeah, I'll kick over to you in just 1 minute. Let's go ahead and we'll bring you on right now. Okay, ready? I'll hit your button now that I know for sure it's you. I thought it was. Thanks for the subscriptions, guys. Thanks for joining for sure. Welcome.
Seconds. Oh, sorry. There we go.
Yep, you're on. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, there you go. Anyway, my name's Thal with 40K channel. But I do have a question. Okay, so I'm from the Flesh and Blood community.
Okay.
And I'm an evil investor over there.
Okay.
And MTG I've backed away from real hardcore ever since the stock fell. So I'm gonna look to see how they handle their nonsense. But Pokemon's always been interesting because Pokemon's always had a huge following. Even though you guys have massive print runs, there's always seemed to be growth as far as buying the booster boxes and still product and all that. And I thought I had a good understanding. But then you said collect all the versions of the card and get them graded. And my brain literally just blew a side gasket. Because here's my problem. So I'll tell you what the problem is. Coming from those communities, we have cards that are worth 200, 300, 150 a go. So those are the cards you get graded because you can offset the cost of the PSA to the raw value. With a lot of Pokemon cards, I've noticed that you can't do that. So how does one tell what to get graded in that respect? Because if the card's value is $30, you're getting it graded and it's $30 plus shipping and handling and everything else back and forth. You're losing money.
Oh yeah.
The entire process.
So when it comes down to grading, typically for myself, so what I meant by the three versions of it is that there was an evolutionary line of alternate arts or illustrator arts in this base set. So it was, I can't remember, Rowlet, Clary, don't kill me for this one. The middle one always gets me. It's Claria and Gardevoir EX. And it was an evolutionary line where it was like her with the first evolution of the Pokemon is like as a young child, and then as a mom, she had the second evolution, and as an elderly lady, she has the full-blown Garnivore EX. So there's like a storyline that was put inside of the alternate arts or illustrator arts of base set. I think it's a really cool concept, and that's the one I'm talking about. You want to have all three of those versions in a PSA 10. I think that is a collection set. Selling all three of those would be a great opportunity futuristically. If you were going to speculate on something out of here, that would be one of them that I would be very much speculating on, just because of the cool breakout of that, how they rolled that out.
Well, I didn't even know Pokemon cards worked that way, but no, that is incredibly coming from another community completely. That's actually a really awesome. I love that, because you're right. It does have a story behind it. Now, when you play the game, does it have do you evolve the card as you go in like a deck, or would you do that, or no? Do you not need to do that, or?
So in Sword and Shield, we didn't have to evolve Pokemon any longer. You could go, I believe you could go right to the VMAX version from when I was playing. And I might be wrong on this because I don't play heavy. But originally, like base set, you had to evolve the Pokemon. You had to actually have, we usually started off with so many of the first level, and then stage 2, and then the stage 3 evolutions in order to get those actual Pokemon to their full evolution. So it was a longer game. It took a longer period of time to actually play a game, because you had to build that evolutionary line and get it out on the table. So yeah, they went away from that.
See, I like that evolution where you got to play each card as you go. I love that. I love that idea way more than I love just flash forward into. I mean, I understand why they did it, but I love the fact that you got to evolve to each one. That seems so much cooler to me.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, it was a really cool evolutionary idea for the alternate arts. I don't think anybody's going to hold that many alternate arts in their hand. I mean, that'd be a heck of a pile to play an actual Garnivore EX, but it's definitely a cool card to hold in your deck, or just like I said, it kind of gives that storyline, or that nice little build up, of in an alternate art form. It was a cool illustrator art, definitely, for sure, to be adding in here, and I honestly hope they do more of them in the Pokemon TCG. It was a really cool concept.
Yeah, I hope they go back to that concept, and not speaking as an investor, I just think that's an awesome idea. Just anyway, I'm just kind of like, that's sweet. More card games should do that. I'd love that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last question I had, real quick though. Thoughts on Pokemon Go, because I'm doing more research into the Pokemon market.
Yeah.
And I'm an evil investor, yes, but I'm not looking to scalp or hurt people. That's not what I do. But the Pokemon Go Center Elite Collectors box, I think I said it right, or Elite Trainers box.
Yeah.
There we go. Do you see that going anywhere?
It's gonna take time. That would be my that's probably my best answer for
that's
it.
fair.
Some people were really into Pokemon Go, and I know some people were very much into it. It's an investable set. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of Pokemon Go. I like the Mewtwo concept, but even personally, the Mewtwo alternate art kind of fell flat. Crown Zenith has got a 100% better overall Mewtwo alternate art in it, in that Galarian Gallery. So that was really the one card that people were really going to be sorting after and going after and really doing things with. And that was just one of those things. It was, I don't know. Personally, I think it will eventually. I think just like anything, over time, think people may go back to it. People may like it. People may enjoy it. But right now, it's a pretty hard sell overall. That's why it's still kind of the one Sword and Shield set, if you noticed, isn't really doing much at the end of the day. And that's just, I think it's just a hit or miss. It's kind of a dud set overall. I mean, it just doesn't really perform like we all were hoping.
Gotcha. Okay. And I was just, and thank you for that, because I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And have a great night, man.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for coming on.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. All right. We got Ben in the chat. I see that Streamlabs got mad at someone. Someone was using all caps. Don't do that. My Streamlabs doesn't like all caps. Players pissed because they are limiting remote raids. Yeah, I know. Let's see here. Yeah, Pokemon Go. It's interesting. I know there's a lot of people that are just like, I'm walking away from it because they won't let me do remote raids. It's like, okay, if that's the reason you're leaving, it's kind of a silly reason if you've already built up a whole account. Did you know You were here. Oh. Let me see. I'm just trying to get caught up. Came from Retro's premiere. Need to share my thoughts. Pokemon Go. Yeah. Yeah, the Mewtwo and Pokemon Go is just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I know I'm a big Mewtwo fan, and I wasn't a big fan of it. Yeah, the Kickaber. I got so many of those. Yeah. I got so many of those alternate arts, I don't know what to do with them. Yeah, don't make fun. Don't make fun of him. He's new to the hobby. He's moving over here from Flesh and Blood. Like I said, I think we're gonna be seeing more of that personally. I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more people moving into Pokemon just because it's been more stable, more successful than even the people that are getting really, 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 really upset with Magic the Gathering, the stock drops. Everybody else is getting a little bit concerned, but I don't even know if they're really need to be too concerned about it. I love the Mewtwo. Only card I like from that set. Yeah, out of the set, I would say it's probably the best card out of the set, but overall for a Mewtwo card, it's pretty flat. Nick, please. So, well, like I said, guys, I just wanted to try and keep this about an hour and a half. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity, and like I said, I will work on not having weird memos, so this video will disappear for a little bit while I added out a section of immaturity and bot. So other than that, guys, like I said, you got any more last questions or anything you want to go over here before I head out for tonight? If we have new people. Oh my goodness, you too. Yeah, there you go. Just start pumping Pokemon Go. I remember a certain content creator saying that you should buy it because it's really cheap and dropping. Before release, you can buy it under MSRP. You should get it. I remember that conversation, sitting there going, oh my goodness. Telling people to buy Pokemon Go. No one liked the... it's good for people to move into Pokemon. Remember that those are the people who are supporting the hobby more than us collectors. Exactly the way the more people we can get into it, the more people that we can definitely get into the hobby, the better off we are. And I like the organic slow growth, like people leaving MTG and coming to Pokemon, in Flesh and Blood, looking for a secondary thing to do. They're coming to Pokemon. Overall, I think that that's better for the hobby than what we saw in 2020. The organic growth is great. The sudden drop of hundreds of thousands of people all at once is just not a good thing to have overall. Let's see. Thanks a lot, Andy. Don't let the weirdos discourage you. This is an awesome and you are just asset to community. Well, thank you, Jack. Like I said, I'm just gonna screen things better. I gave people the benefit of the doubt, and they taught me that I can't trust the internet, which I know better. As a 37-year-old, I should know better not to trust the internet, but sometimes I have faith in humanity, and it gets me. Nickel, yeah, there you go. Well, like I said, thank you. Don't ask, Paul. Don't even go there. Thanks for joining. But we are just kind of wrapping it up. This is gonna go away for about an hour, Paul. I'm gonna have to go edit something out before I get banned from YouTube for life, and I don't really want to have to rebuild another account. Olivia is on here. Is that someone? I could get one more person in if there is someone. If it is, please type into the chat. That way I know it's you. Yeah, and no more trolls, please. We don't need that. Well, like I said, thank you guys. Overall, like I said, hopefully this is a good chat. Hopefully it's a good discussion, especially with Scarlet and Violet. Please just understand that anybody that's new in this hobby or hasn't been through a base set release, please understand this is pretty much typical. This is a great base set. This is a great start to Scarlet and Violet. Overall, I think that it's performing really well. I think it looks really nice. I think overall it's really going to do well, in the long run of base sets. But I really do think that it's going to take some time to grow. We're not going to see $200-$300 cards right out of the bat. We're not going to see all of that stuff immediately. I definitely think that we will see some growth. We will see some good things. That Garnivore line is definitely a great opportunity in there. I think there'll be plenty of it out there. Getting a set in a PSA 10, I think will be really good in the long term. I think Garnivore is a fan favorite Pokemon, so I think that there's some really good opportunity in that. Yeah, give me a minute, Pika Pika. Don't. It's gonna go away for just a little bit. I gotta do an edit because of inappropriate actions of others. But otherwise, guys, thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching. We'll definitely be doing more lives here, and then, like I said, I'm gonna be working on doing those comment review videos. We're talking about the comments, going over some of the things, giving a discussion point to those is great in my opinion, because it keeps the discussion going, number one, and number two, you can hear from a different point of view on, maybe instead of arguing in comments and trying to do disagreements or comments, it's better to just hear it all laid out like I did in that last video. I think that went really well to explain my point of view and explain a way of looking at it without coming across in messages. Sometimes, people read monotone and people don't honestly understand what you actually are meaning at the end of the day. So definitely something that, definitely something I want to work on, and working with the community and definitely going through with that point of it. Let me guess. People ramble due to... Well, Paul, it's not really there's some people that are rambling. There's a lot of stuff going on about the base set being high pull rates and, no good chase cards. The chase cards are all washed out. Even that Miriam, I mean, we're looking at 3 to 5 times better pull rates than Sword and Shield sets, and that's really concerning people, but it's really nothing to be concerned about at the end of the day. So... Otherwise, hopefully that was good for you. Hopefully we'll continue to do this. Like I said, I'm going to work on the screening process. The screening process is going to be the key now that I know what I'm dealing with. And other than that, guys, hopefully this is some good information, good discussion, and we'll continue it on through the week. Other than that, guys, thanks for joining me, and we will see you next